I do want to bring in now Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. Thank you so much for being here. You have been watching very closely what is happening here in Minneapolis from your vantage point. And we just got this new information overnight. The Associated Press was the first to report that ICE is changing its policy, and it is now allowing its agents to forcibly enter homes without a warrant. And I just want to be clear, based solely on a more narrow administrative warrant to arrest someone on a final order of removal. Do you think this sharp turn from ICE's policy and from normal policing tactics is a violation of the Constitution's Fourth Amendment?
It is a blatant Craven violation of the Fourth Amendment, a bedrock protection for people in the privacy of their homes. Americans should be terrified that this secret ICE policy authorizes agents to break down doors and ransack through their homes, arresting or detaining people without a judicial warrant. There's a critical difference between that administrative warrant, which is signed by an ICE officer or a deportation official, and a judicial warrant where a judge and a court have to find that there is a cause, probable cause, to enter someone's home. And this shocking policy is linked directly to top officials of ICE. In fact, the acting director of ICE authored this secret memo, and it is being circulated throughout ICE. It is trained to new agents potentially on the job out there in Minnesota. It exemplifies what Americans are seeing in real time, and it's part of a pattern that I documented in a report that I did interviewing dozens of American citizens illegally detained, lawlessly deprived of opportunities for medical treatment, for making phone calls, and that's why the whistleblower came to us with this memorandum as part of our investigation on the permanent subcommittee on investigation, which is going to continue. We're going to demand accountability for this lawless violation of the Fourth Amendment.
What should that accountability look like? Are you looking, as some legislators are, to defund ICE? Do you think that ICE should be hemmed in some way? We are seeing reports here of ICE going into businesses who have been publicly condemning them and saying that that is the reason why they have come into their businesses to intimidate them. We have also seen a man pulled out in his underwear in the cold who turned out to be a U.S. citizen, ICE detaining him as well. What is it that you are proposing should happen to ICE because of all these scenarios?
I've written letters to the chairman of the Judiciary Committee and the Homeland Security Committee demanding that Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, be called before our committee and be held accountable. Also, that we attach conditions to the new appropriations bill forbidding this kind of warrantless breaking into homes, terrifying children, ransacking bedrooms, and taking people, as you just suggested, specific instances of American citizens being detained, that individual taken from his home in his underwear into the cold, driven around St. Paul for 2 or slightly fewer hours, and then returned without an explanation, without an apology. This kind of entering and breaking into people's homes without any judicial oversight or approval has to be stopped, and it will take probably my Republicans stepping up and showing that they're valuing human rights really means something in practice, not just in rhetoric. My Republicans have to grow a backbone here and hold ICE accountable in hearings and in specific language attached to appropriations bills.
Speaking of Republicans, Vice President J.D. Vance is coming to Minneapolis amidst all of this. Why do you think he's here now? And what would be your message to him?
My message to J.D. Vance, as a fellow Yale Law School graduate, is respect the Constitution, obey the Fourth Amendment, direct that Kristi Noem respect the law, because it is such a bedrock principle. As he well knows, the Constitution of the United States is not a suggestion. It's the law. And as a former prosecutor myself, United States Attorney in Connecticut for 4.5 years, as well as Attorney General of the state for 20 years, I've worked with agents of the federal, state, and local governments, and cooperation among them is essential. My message to J.D. Vance is include state and local police and law enforcement. Don't exclude them. And urge them to follow the Constitution, seek a judicial warrant. The judges are available. Those federal judges are ready, willing, and able, when it is justified, to sign a warrant. Do not rely on those deportation officials to sign some administrative piece of paper.
Yep. And as you know, one police chief here says that his own officers have been detained by ICE, potentially unconstitutionally. We will see what happens as the vice president lands here. Thank you for your time, Senator. We do appreciate it.